What's up, guys? My name is Khan, and we're back today with more Railroads Online. And in the last episode, we just finished building this uphill shunt yard. It's quite wonderful, and we've got double track going everywhere. So we've got to work on an engine storage area at some point in time over here. We've got our service tracks as well, and still no luck on getting the coal to link up. But, I mean, we'll see what happens when we get coal and have to do that stuff. But today I figured what we should do is probably connect up to the cattle farm, continue our double track out this way. It should be relatively easy. I mean, it looks like it's just pretty much a straight path in that direction. So we'll continue our double track, try and connect up to the cattle farm, and then at least, you know, we'll have the wheat farm, cattle farm, and water well, all that connected in one straight shot, and it should be great. But before we do that, let's go check and see what the cattle farm actually needs. I've never actually looked at the industry. Yeah, it's not even that far. It's literally right here. So we just got to continue this double track. Probably, this goes up a hill a little bit, so we probably got to turn and stay right here and go like this way with the double track, and then we'll have the tracks come off this way and bridge up. Yeah, because, oh, there's a cliff there. Yeah, so we'll have to go this way. We'll go like along this, keep the mountain on our right side, and it looks like this goes up a hill as well. It'll be an interesting. All right, this is our cattle farm. It takes water as well. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It takes grain, it takes water, and it takes straw bales. Oh, so it literally just takes everything the wheat farm takes and then some. So that's interesting. We're gonna have to bring water up for the wheat farm and then bring more water up, hook up with extra cars at the wheat farm full of products, and then bring all that to the cattle farm, unload it all. At least the unload is pretty simple in this. It just unloads at the one spot. And then what's the load? It's just cows, right? Like that's just cows. 0 of 20. Is this another set of cows? More cows. 0 of 20. It's kind of cool, actually. I wonder if this is actually, this is probably how they actually load cows onto trains, I would imagine. Like a series of fences and then ramps, and you just kind of like shove the cows forward and get them onto a cattle car. I mean, that would make sense. Pull the train up nice and close. So, all right, this is gonna be cool. We'll connect up to this, no problem. So first thing we'll do, I guess, we'll just go to the freight depot and extend the main out a little bit. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Double tracking is a little bit of a pain, especially because I try and keep the spacing consistent through curves. But what I found is you can just put a set of switches before the curve and a set of switches after the curve and then do the auto link, and it seems to be close enough. But anyway, we got to come back all the way out to here, and we're definitely going to have to climb. You can literally see the cattle farm there. Yeah, we're going to have to climb for sure. I know this is a climb here. So let's delete this, I think. Yeah, and just clear out all this, and we'll start right here where they're pretty much lined up. And we'll start climbing at like, probably I would say like 2% just to get out of this. Oh boy, is that not even enough? Man, that's like barely clearing the ground, if it is. Yikes. I mean, it technically is, but let's go 2.5% just to give me a little bit of peace of mind. And we'll just go up 2.5% just for this first little bit there. And we'll try and keep this parallel. I don't really know if there's a better way to build double track. Railroads Online's not really set up to build double track. There's nothing that the dev gives you as like a tool for it. But I found it, you just got to do it kind of section by section and work on each piece one at a time. All right, I think we're good now. We just needed that little 2% climb at the beginning. Now we're at 0. So the reason you're probably like, I don't understand what just happened there. If you try and do like a 2% climb, the way the game does it is it sort of smooths all the curves out, so it doesn't just go from 0 to 2%. It puts like a gradient in there. So if I do a really long 2% section, then it's making this really, really big arc. You can kind of see it there. But now when we go 2% just for a small little bit and then back to 0, you can see it just lips the rail up that little bit of 2%, and then it comes back, and now we're flat 0, and it smooths out that curve. So it's kind of, you know, something you got to think about when you're laying track. You can't just go like straight into a 2% hill. The first little bit you do is going to be the transition piece, and then if you continue at 2%, it'll just be straight and like straight on a linear path. So just something that you may or may not notice when I'm building track. You got to just kind of think of that, and we definitely need to not flatten out to 0 because this needs to keep going up more. That spacing seems kind of good, right? I think it's fine. The only thing you got to watch out for is, you know, that good old dynamic envelope of the train cars. Like when they go around the corner, you know, they're going to have a little bit more size. They're going to take up space. They got that dynamic window or whatever. I think we're close enough, honestly. It might not be Yeah, I don't think our tracks are absolutely perfect. This one's higher for some reason. I sort of went up in grade a little bit. I might have to flatten that out a little bit more. But yeah, it's not gonna be perfect. We'll realign them at some point. I feel like most double tracks in real life aren't perfect either. I feel like they have variations at spots. You would think, right? Like, they wouldn't just have these absolutely flawless tracks. See, this is weird. Now I'm like, I think I'm too low at 1.5, and I'm too high at 2. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. All right, so now I'm just gonna build a switch section to realign the track here, kind of flatten this out straight. So I'm just gonna go switch left there, and then, or switch left, and then another switch left, and then we're just gonna link this up to that, and hopefully that sort of looks all right. I feel like we're a little close on this curve. It might, yeah, it S's out a little bit. Okay, I gotta fix this curve. It's actually the easiest thing in the world to fix track, because all you gotta do is just delete all the splines you put down and then just find one common connection point like that. And look at that, now it's one perfectly smooth track all the way there. Big spline. I think we're clear of the ground. Yeah, that's perfect. And that just looks so much better. Like, it's just one smooth, perfectly set up ramp. It curves from, like, you know, it goes from whatever 2% we were there up to 0 here, and it does it nice and gradually. It's so nice that you can come back and replace splines. But anyway, should be easy enough now to keep going. We're just gonna bomb it straight in this direction now for like the entire way until we get past the cattle farm pretty much. And then eventually we'll have to curve it to the right, but we don't have to worry about doing that today really, because that, you know, that's going forward in the track. So honestly, we can just kind of go straight here for a bit and see how long we can get. Probably need to climb a little bit, 0.5%. Yeah, let's go, I guess, up at 0.5% to here and start that little gradual climb. And then, like I said before, now that we're at a 0.5% gradient, it's not going to do that curve anymore, and then we can now just keep going up at 0.5%. And is that enough? It is. Holy cow. Oh man, this gets, we might need a bridge here. That's a ridge and a half, unless we go way to the right. Are we gonna make it at 0.5% though? Like, we might just flat up make it. I'm just gonna put this down for now. Like, you know, it'll make it at 1. It'll definitely make it at 1. Wow, that is a ridge. And then it has to keep going. Like, we basically have to get up onto this ridge, flatten out, have the switch off sections for us to get to the cattle farm, and then keep climbing immediately after that, like, to get back up onto there. We need like a Y here off the main, basically, so we can get to the cattle farm. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this has to climb like a lot, like a full percent, just to get up onto this ridge, and then another. This, you know what? It's not the end of the world. 1% is bad. It's definitely gonna need some bridges because the fill's gonna get kind of gross looking. So we'll make a little double tracked, like stilt bridge thing, pile bridge thing. I think it'll look all right. Perfect. There's a bit of a gap, but that's okay. Looks cool. Kind of neat. I like that better than fill, to be honest. I know it's probably not exactly where they'd put the bridge. They'd probably have this come back, but whatever. You know, you're coming into the industry. It looks cool enough. And then now we're going to do the proper switch setup. So first we're going to have a switch left here, right? Because that'll be to get over, if you're in the right lane, you need to get over into the left lane. And then we'll put switch left coming back on this side. Done, like so. Excellent. And then this connects to there and completes that. Perfect. And then we need a switch that goes into the industry. So now we have to break this up with a little chunk of rail, maybe about 5 meters long, just like that. And then we put the industry switch like so. And I just do this, of course, because then the switch stands aren't right next to each other. Sometimes if they're right next to each other, it's hard to tell which one you're grabbing. So this just gives you a little bit of space there. So that's that side of the track. So if we're coming in on the right, we basically switch over immediately and then switch over again. So we do foul the main on the other side, but we have to cross the other track somehow. Like, I don't see a way around that. And then this can continue to there, and that's the end of the double track. This all looks good, right? We don't have grass. I love building tracks super low to the grass like this. Like, I love it when you can see the grass poking through because, like, you know, tracks get overgrown. That's kind of how it works. Main lines get cleared out a little bit because the trains sort of chop down the vegetation, I guess. But, you know, I like it when you can get as low to the ground as you can without having the terrain, you know, actually cause hitbox problems. So this looks really good. And then we need another set of these switches, really, going the other way. I don't know, yeah, because it's definitely gonna have to go to the meat packing plant, which is in the other direction. So let's go put a telegraph office down at the cattle farm. And then eventually we are gonna have to Y in both directions. So I think like, but the main line has to climb. I don't think I have room for another set of switches here. Like I think we have to start climbing right away. I could maybe do another set of switches up top and then you could climb your way out. My thought for the cattle farm was just to do a basic loop, right? Like maybe a couple passing tracks on either side, but in a loop. So it doesn't matter which way you come into the cattle farm. You can always like just leave in any other direction. You can leave left or you can leave right. That would be sort of the plan. So you have a loop there with a Y. I guess we could just connect into this side for now and worry about the next side later. That's probably what we're gonna do. Let's just extend this out a bit. I'll start climbing this a little bit because it's definitely gonna have to happen. Oh boy. It's not even gonna come close at 2%. But anyway, let's just do this a little bit. Yeah, we'll connect it up to this side for now. We'll worry about the other side later. But eventually we're gonna need it to be able to leave in the opposite direction, I think. Hold on. Meat pack, it should be over by the water? Is that it there? That's probably it there. That tiny little building on the cursor. Okay. So we have to just like... Yeah, we're gonna have to climb this like mad. Like, no question about it. We're gonna have to go up on an angle here and then come across here and get out there. And if we want to get... Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna need another set of switches somehow. I don't know how we're gonna... Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna see if this is gonna work. Alright, so I think I figured out a solution. It's not great. We do have some 60-meter curves coming off of these switches here, but I mean, it is what it is. But this is sort of the solution. We've got the one set of switches coming off the main line this way, so they can switch in and you can get in. And then it goes through one of those 45-degree cross pieces, and then the other set of switches goes here. It's kind of hard to see with the oil industry in the way, I know. But yeah, that allows us to fly. And then the double main line extends up. And this is actually pretty cool. This took a little bit of thinking, which is why I just sort of went away and did it. But you can see it has to climb at 3% almost immediately after getting out of these switches. So we go from those switches, then we climb at 2% to these switches. And there's a slight little height difference there because we have to keep coming up this hill. And then these switches are flat again, and then we climb again at 3%, and we cut right to get into this valley, and then that'll be where our main line continues. And I just put some switches at the end there just to pair it back up and make sure it's the right spacing, but those will eventually get deleted, and our main line will continue pretty much in the direction, if you look where the arrow's pointing, almost straight at the meat packing plant. So that's pretty good. We'll have to do some more climbing there. It looks like there's some hills and stuff, but anyway, we should now be able to just connect up to the platforms here and then loop them around in the back. Oh boy, I don't know if this is gonna have space. This is gonna be a tight industry. This might be rough, but here we got like a 60-meter curve coming off, and then it's 60 meters to get over to here. So we're just gonna build sort of like the platform, I guess, the unload platform. And I guess we have to make sure it clears the water is the big thing. All right, I think that's good. Pretty sure as long as the water's not overhanging the ties, we're fine. And then we'll just sort of grab this and come back a little bit straight this way. I'm gonna start the curve a little bit because we do need to get over to that side and hit up with that track over there. So we'll go to like, I don't know, maybe like this is probably okay. And then I think we can just link that. Hopefully this doesn't look too stupid, but this is gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a tight industry. Like there's gonna be a lot of slow maneuvering when you're dealing with the cattle farm. I don't think, yeah, I mean, that looks okay, to be honest. It's not gonna be great. And then we need, ultimately, actually, we probably need to use this switch and make, we don't even have space for a passing track. Maybe on the other side I can put a passing track, but there's no space on this side for it. I wish we had smaller switches in Railroads Online. Smaller switches would be huge, because then you could actually make really, really small, you know, shunting areas and stuff, and switch offs. They don't have to be like high speed switches. They could have really terrible turns, like really terrible corners, but, you know, at least if we had a smaller switch, then we could do some, you know, smaller, more compact yards, especially around some of these tighter industries. A lot of the time I find you're dealing with, you know, especially with this double track stuff, just dealing with enough space to have all the switches you need to make it work. But there, we'll go to here. It's not going to be a huge passing track because this is a really tight industry. Not much we can do about that, but it should be enough. We're not leaving like a whole ton of space, obviously, for, you know, other trains, but it's just got enough that if two people are dealing with the cattle station at the same time, I mean, obviously you could follow the main too, and we're pretty close to the freight depot, and it's highly unlikely it'll ever be needed, but, you know, might as well have it if we've got a little bit of space. Or we could honestly just store some cattle cars here. You know, you could have a few empty cattle cars on the siding here just waiting to be loaded up and taken to where they need to go. It's not a huge siding, but it'll do. And then really, we just need to loop this section back around to that. I could probably click and drag it and see what it draws as a curve. It might be really, really bad, though. I'm curious, just for my own sake, what's the actual curve on this? Like, if I go and crank it, is it a 30? It's probably like a 30, right? Oh, God. Yeah, that's like... Man, that's sharper than a 30. Like... Oh, boy. Is it? It kind of is. It kind of... Wow. Okay, that is unfortunate. We need to go as wide as we possibly can on this and then cut back in. That is going to be horrible. I mean, this is industry track. I don't think the trains will derail on a 30, especially if we're not going quick or anything. But we're just going to climb a little bit here, stick to this right side. We're going to kind of open the curve up and then make it as shallow as we can. But holy cow. This industry is very tight. All right, I came up with a new plan, which was build better track. But no, in all seriousness, I just extended these straight sections out further and went way further around that way. And it still gets tight, like we get down to a 40-meter turn here, but we don't go any steeper than 40 meters. So it's still rough. I mean, you know, the entrance to this industry is a 60 meter, so you're not exactly going quick. And then we've got a 40 meter here. And I guess we could clean up this little snaky bit of track here. We could just make this one continuous piece now that we know where we're going, and it would probably draw it a lot cleaner. But yeah, it's going to be a tight industry for sure. It's not exactly, you know, a speed around place, but that'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. We'll figure it out. But yeah, let's go get the Montezuma and deliver some stuff. Is that okay? Did I go too low there? No, I think you're good. Yeah, looks perfect. Awesome. So Montezuma's up there at the freight depot, at our little yard. I should build a telegraph office up there actually, so we don't have to walk. But we need to spawn some cars. So we need to deliver hay or wheat and straw bales, right? So we don't have a lot of money. Tools and seed pallets, logs and steel pipes. We have both of those. Beams, lumber, raw iron, no. Cordwood and straw bales. Okay, so we need a couple of those. How much money do we actually have? $600. Oh god. Okay, we're really broke. All right, so we need cordwood. Those are $220 each. Cordwood and straw bales. Tool, iron, coal, oil barrels. Tools, iron, coal, oil barrels. Okay, I'm assuming these just each store more of those. Iron, ore, coal. Where do I get wheat? Seed pallet, grain? Does that say grain? Is that what that is? Well, we're gonna drive the smallest little train ever, but we're gonna get it done. What car number would this be? Oh my god. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it'd be 9. Okay, so this would be 900. And again, Aurora Falls Railroad. Order one of those. And then we're gonna order one of these as well for cordwood and straw bales. And this is number... let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 4, so this will be 400, and this is Aurora Falls Railroad. Again, we're not using our company name yet because I haven't bought a locomotive. That's when we're gonna get the first company name going. But in the meantime, we're gonna assemble the smallest little train ever. Oh my god, this is great. Made up of all these rental cars. It's fantastic. I really wish Railroads Online had a rental system. That would be very convenient. So you could rent cars temporarily and then like just pay a portion of you know, all the stuff. So like, let's say you deliver a product in a car that you rent, you only get, you know, you get 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6, whatever. They take 30% or something of all your profits because you don't own the car. But then you could save your money initially. So in the beginning of the game, you could rent enough cars to like, you know, get your industries going and build up a thing, but you're giving away all this money technically, and then eventually you'd buy your own cars. But in the beginning, you have to buy all these cars to deliver all these different products. I mean, we do have 3 water tanks. That might be part of the problem. But yeah, you have to buy all these cars to deliver all these products, and then you're broke for a while, right? So it's like, It would be cool if that wasn't the case. But anyway, let's get out of here. You're gonna be, hold on a minute. Let's just let you slow up a little bit. Let's fill you with this, because you're gonna be dead. And then let's get some switches. Dunk. And it's just gonna keep pushing until it hits this guy's brake. And dunk, amazing. All right, let's see if we can get you done. Can I get you? Perfect. Let's turn your brake off. Excellent. And let's highball it out of here. And let's get going straight down to the water well, pretty much. I think we should be good. We're good? Everything stopped? Amazing. This is great. We actually have a mixed load right away. That was the one thing that always kind of bothered me with the Railroads Online originally, is like you'd only ever be delivering 1 or 2 products. And now we actually have a load where we have to pick up from the water well and we have to pick up from the wheat farm, and then we have to bring both of them to the meat plant or the cattle farm, and they're both like on the way. So it makes sense to make a mixed consist like this where you're actually going to multiple locations and picking up multiple products. I like that, because with the original like wood and stuff, it was always just grab wood from the one place, bring it to the next place, grab it from that place and bring it to the next. There wasn't really much mixed consist stuff. So it's nice that they've added that into the new tech trees, or the new industry trees, I guess. I think we're set though. Are we? I can't tell. I think are those going, yeah, the first one's right, that's fine. The next one's left, so we're not gonna go into industry. We should be good, just straight on highball it down to 6%, pick up our water, and then come on back up. Man, the Montezuma hauling at 22 feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it feels kind of nice. Am I going the right? Oh no, wait, no, I'm going the wrong way. No, we gotta stop. We gotta go down the right. We gotta go down the main. Yeah, don't want to go down the other way. I want to go down the main. Perfect. All right, there we go. It stopped on a dime too. That was insane. We're also empty. I mean, I feel like if we had weight, we would not have been with our, 60,000 pounds of water weight. We're not gonna be stopping like that. But there we go. Now we can just kind of sit here and coast all the way down to the water well, and then come flying back up again. And then we're gonna have to fill up. We're gonna have to cross back into the wheat farm, go into the product side, pick up some straw and some hay bales. Or some wheat, what is it, grain and straw bales. And then bring all this to the cattle farm and probably get like 3 cows out of the deal, but it's totally gonna be worth it. Apparently people were saying cows make some money. That's what some people in the comments were saying. They were like, if you get one of those cattle cars, you'll make some money. So if we can deliver enough grain and water and stuff from these to make some, get some cows going, and then deliver some cows to the freight depot, if that makes us enough money where we can buy some more locomotives, then we can get more people in, and then, deliver more products. We just need, it's just a numbers game. We need more stuff. But like, this is all the stuff we have. This is all the cars in the entire, well, except for I guess we have those log ones, which doesn't really help us, and the seed pallet ones. I guess we could bring seeds as well. But ultimately, that's what we need. We need a seed train. We need a couple people running water trains. We need seed trains. We're going a little spicy here. 27, we're doing all right. I love this downhill. I tried to make the curve so shallow because it's just like 5-6%. Put a little bit more brake on. Meanwhile, the brakes are on fire by the time you get to the bottom of this hill, just from the flat up friction of like the brake shoe constantly being on the wheel. No big deal. Pretty sure you'd still want brakemen going down a hill. I'm just gonna say that, but it's fine. There we go. Crank the brake off. Now we're on the flat ground. It's beautiful. And now we can literally just coast. It's like great. Doesn't cost you any fuel. We need to actually fill up with water, speaking of. Gonna have to do a stop at the freight depot at some point in time. Top up the tender. Still got lots of firewood. Also, people commented in the last video, the wood ricks apparently do regenerate wood, but extremely slowly. And yeah, there's still no fuel delivery car. We definitely need a mass fuel car so we could grab a bunch of logs from one place and deliver to the other. You can still do it with a tender, but then you have to like manually huck the logs from the tender. So I'm probably gonna end up putting like a couple wood ricks back at the base, and they'll just slowly regenerate over time. Apparently it's just an incredibly slow regen rate to prevent, but yeah, they had to have the minimum amount of logs on there, otherwise people could soft lock their game. This track is so chill, it's great. I love the new spline tool. It's so nice to make nice, smooth looking track. And like with gradual hills and things. And before, your track would always be kind of chunky, which I guess was more, you know, more in line with how, you know, narrow gauge was. You'd have these like really jagged tracks and stuff, and it was always really hard to do. The spline tool makes it so much nicer, which, you know, helps me because I love pretty looking track, smooth looking track. I think we can literally just make this without having to use any reg. Maybe not. We're a little bit heavier now. The only thing I wish is I could cut the terrain. If I could cut the terrain, I would cut this, because like obviously having this little track hump down here is a bit silly. I think we're honestly loading up at night again, and I'm gonna go back at night. It seems to always happen with this game. All right, we're loaded up and good to go. It's almost nighttime. Might as well turn off that. Not waste water for no reason, although it regens no problem. I've already turned on the lights, so we're just gonna get out of here. And hopefully we can make it up. We don't have that much extra weight, but I think we'll be okay. Of course, we're always trekking at night. Always trekking at night, it seems. It's okay, I actually have the nighttime set to be shorter than the daytime, so it should get back to daytime quicker. But it still has like 5 minutes of night or so, just because I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of it, especially with like, you know, the northern lights that you get on this map. We need to bring the reg up. We are now climbing. I think we're doing okay though, 17 mile an hour. Seems to be what it did last time. I don't think it's any difference. I think that's just max, like 100, 100. And if we bring the reverser down a bit, we can get it to go a little bit more, but obviously at the cost of power for some reason. I don't know, the steam simulation in Railroads Online is interesting, but they've definitely changed the reverser because like in order to get max speed out of a locomotive, you have to bring the reverser closer to mid, which is for sure the way it goes. The Montezuma will max out at like 18 mile an hour at 100, 100. And if you want to get it to the 22, you got to bring the reverser closer to center, which sacrifices power, like pulling power for some reason. But I mean, we just bogged down a bit there because we were on a curve. We're fine now though. And then I think there's just a shallow curve here, and then I think the final curve comes up soon enough. And then the curve right before the wheat farm is definitely 4%, so that's going to be a bit of a struggle. I think we're going to make this. Let's just bring the reg down a bit. Okay, maybe I brought it down too much. This is definitely the steepest part of the climb. But I think we're okay. That switch is left. That's going to curve us in. And then we just got to go and set this switch. Perfect. And then we need to go left there as well. Are you going to bog down? No, you got this. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Perfect. Nice. Yeah, I probably should have just teleported ahead to the industry, but that's fine. And then that's going to go left. I think there's a little bit of a climb here. And then we got to make sure we go right here, so we're not set into the Y. And we're going to pick up our wheat products in the middle of the night. Oh, sunlight. Perfect. Sunrise. Wonderful. All right, so for the straw bales, I'm assuming we got to be underneath that right chute, or that red chute, with our last car. Okay, let's just brake. We got a ton of water weight here. I think that looks good, actually. Does it? Oh, a little. Let's go back just a little bit. I don't know how precise these things are, and I'm terrified of, like, wasting product right away. Just nudge it back. That's probably enough. So the slack lets up. Yeah, okay, so how do I do this thing? How does it work? Oh, okay, over here. Hold on. There we go. Load freight. Perfect. Let's go, hay bale. Is that it? 3 of 4? Do I just load again? Is it only gonna load? Oh, it just loads 4 of 4 automatically. Okay, perfect. So it loads in batches of 3, but it doesn't overload. That's good. That's good. How many do we have left? 8. Okay. So we can store 4 in those. We're gonna need a lot of those cars. Okay, and then let's get the grain loaded up. The grain's got to shoot. Right? Yeah, it's got to shoot. Oh boy, how does that work? probably as soon as I like pull the chute up, it's gonna start feeding grain, and the grain goes into a boxcar. I thought a grain would go into a hopper, not a boxcar, but maybe I'm completely wrong on this. I would have thought for sure you'd store grain in hoppers though. I think that's good. Yeah, looks good. So just do I just do that? 1 of 4, okay. 2 of 4, okay. 3 of 4. I gotta be like super careful. As soon as it hits 4 of 4, we gotta like retract that back. Hopefully it stops pouring. Maybe it does. 8 of 4. Can I open the door? Ah, yes. My nice pile of grain. That's perfect. That's perfect. That seems sanitary. All right, perfect. We got 4 of 4 there, 4 of 4 there. And then what? These are 6s, right? So 18 water. All right, so how much money do we have total? 80 bucks. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what we get when we actually go unload this all at the cattle farm. But this is sick. This is actually like a proper mixed train of actual products that we need. I'm just gonna kind of walk out here to set the switches. It's gonna come running through here, no problem. It'll run through here, and then we just have to set these main switches to get back onto the right lane, because we always want to drive on the right lane, of course. I don't know if that's an actual railroad convention. I'm just assuming that because I live in, North America, where we drive on the right-hand side of the road. And I'm just going to assume that trains are going to do the same thing. And that's sort of how I'm designing this track convention, so that you always can drive on the right, pull in from the right, except for that one spot there where it crisscrosses and you're on the left side, but the tracks separate there, so it doesn't really matter. But that's sort of the plan, always driving on the right. How are we doing on fuel? I can add a bit more. Nice. Alright, we switch over. Follow the main for a bit, but that's okay. And then we immediately switch over onto our proper main. I love that switch setup. It looks so cool. Double track is so cool. I've never done a full map with proper double track before. And we're not going to double track the whole map, not to every industry, obviously. It's just going to be this mainline section, This initial section that cuts across the middle, water well to wheat farm to freight depot, the cattle farm, and then up to the railway express agency, probably past the meat packing plant. And then that'll probably be the end of the double tracking stuff. Maybe the refinery gets built into that, but honestly, it'll probably be a single track. And then, of course, the sawmill is going to be part of that double track network as well, because it's at the bottom of that downhill. But it's just super cool. Never done double track before, and it just looks so sick. It looks so clean, and then you see like the yards and stuff. I love finally getting a map sort of established. It feels like it's easier to move forward when you've got sort of a plan already set up. And when you've started laying track, it's easier to like continue. But laying that first little bit of track, like the initial trailblazing, is always really, really tough, I find. It's a bit of a climb to get to the cattle farm, holy cow. And then it's gonna keep going up even further to get to the meatpacking plant. This is the big climb here. This was like 2%, I thought? No, 1.5%. It was only 1.5%, I thought. We're coming in from this side, so that's perfect. So we cross across here, crosses into the main, no problem. And then we cross again. And now we're into our 60-degree track. And now the whole cattle farm is just basically a loop. We come in from this side, so we're always going to come in product side first. So if we were loading, we would come in and load right away. I don't know if that's a big deal. We're not really going to have... It just means if you want to like unload and then load up cattle, you'd have to like come in with your unload train, go all the way around, unload, and then, shove it backwards to get back here, and then swap trains out. So it's not the end of the world. I don't think you'd really be doing that. But just the convention of this, because it crisscrosses here, it's you're always going to come in this side first. And then you're going to always go out this other side. Oh, wait, I screwed up. I'm missing switches. I can't get... Oh, no. Oh, this is a big loop, but it forces me to keep going down the main. I can't get back going right. Well, I made mistakes. I am going to have to fix that later. Is that tree out of the way? Apparently it just is. We're gonna delete that too. But yeah, I made a mistake. I totally missed the fact that I have to be able to go out to the right. I need like a switch over. I need to be able to cross from this track back onto that track and vice versa. Like, basically I need to switch here. That lets me go back over here and get onto that track and then go back out. And then I need the same thing on this side, a switch that lets me get back on this track and go back out. So if you come in from, oh god, yeah. This industry is a mess. Whoops. That was, I thought I had done it so well, and I was like, this seems really easy. And I guess that's why I totally made a mistake. All right, so straw bales go here at the back. That's good. Let's just hammer the brake here. This is gonna line up just nicely. So straw bales at the back, grain goes up there. Okay. Hopefully this is gonna give us a fair amount of cows. It's a lot of product. I mean, we have $80, right? So let's see what this can do in terms of cash. So $80. Let's see, what can you do? That's nice. Straw bales, 4 straw bales. They're $10 each, or $5 each. That is a terrible deal. Okay, so we make $5 a straw bale. Water sells for $5 a piece as well. Okay, that's also equally terrible. And then the final thing is just to deliver our grain. That is, the prices of these things is pretty terrible. We went from $80 to like not even $200. Like 130. This is gonna take a lot of running. And I know we're running small cars and stuff, but dang, that is a rough economy. We're gonna have to see what the cattle cars do. Maybe we can get something out of the cattle, and that'll make it all worth it. There we go. Nice grain cubes. All right, so we've got grain. We got 4 grain. We got a bunch of water, and we got a bunch of straw bales. So we should like produce cows, right? Am I missing something? Does it take more than that to produce a cow? They're not producing. Oh no, it is producing. Is it? No, it's not. It's not produce. What do I? Do I not have enough? It's just a. Is this a numbers thing? It's got to be a numbers thing, right? There's no other. There's no other delivery here. Like I'm not missing something stupid. No, I think it's just a numbers. I think they probably require more straw and more grain to make a single cow. So we're gonna have to go do another delivery of that, and I'm gonna have to fix this outpost because we're not gonna be able to get back. I'm gonna show you the problem real quick. I kind of made a stupid. I literally need a whole other, like we need a crossing track of some kind, or I just need a Y back in here so I can turn the locomotives around. We could do that. You could also have it where you have to like fork your locomotive off, put it on a turntable and spin it around, but that's a real pain in the butt. Like a Y is much more convenient, but oh yeah, I also didn't even chop down these trees. That's good. Let's go do that real quick before we derail. But yeah, I made a lot of Are you serious? The tree that won't chop? Oh no, there it goes. Okay. But yeah, I made a lot of mistakes on this one. I thought I had figured it out. But yeah, right here, this is perfect. Like this is exactly if we wanted to go continue on to like the cattle farm or whatever. But I can't get back onto the main. Right? And if I wide my engine, then I'd have to, let's say, wide my engine around, and then I guess pick up my train and drive back out that way. That would be the only other way to do it, is to wire it. But yeah, see now we're going onto the main, going uphill, which is obviously not where we want to go. We're going in the wrong direction. Yeah. So this needs to, I need to fix that. That needs to be. Honestly, I think this is going to be the industry where you just wire your locomotive and then put it on the other end of your train. Yeah, but if you don't have a train that's too long for this, no, it needs a switch connection somehow. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do this. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you have suggestions on how to fix that. I might have to move this whole main out. I thought I figured out a brilliant solution. I mean, this main looks so pretty, and it drives away. But obviously, we need to be able to go back that way without having to push back the whole way. And I can't really think of how to do that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We're gonna get more cows. I guess we're gonna get some cows in the next episode. We're gonna have to deliver more products. Apparently it takes a lot more grain to feed cows, and we're grand total, oh, $230. You know what? We could get another straw bale car, and apparently they that actually is worth something. So that's interesting. The grain is worth something. It's just the rest of the products that are worth absolutely nothing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you hit those buttons. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time. I'm just gonna honestly push back for now, and then we'll have to figure out a proper solution.